Good morning everyone. Today we are going to see a looping construct. In programming language, there is always a need to execute a statement repeatedly. For this, a loop construct can be used. A loop is a control structure that repeats a group of statements in a program. Typically, C provides us three types of looping constructs: while loop, for loop, and do while loop. Based on the nature of a control variable and the kind of value assigned to it for testing the control expression, loops may be classified into two categories: counter control loops and sentinel control loops. When we know in advance exactly how many times a loop will be executed, we use the counter control loop. We use a counter variable known as a counter. A counter must be initialized, tested, and updated properly for a desired loop operation. In sentinel control loop, a special value called the sentinel value is used to change the loop control expression from true to false. For example, when reading a data may indicate the end of data by a special value called -1 or 1999. This type of loop is called as the sentinel control loop. A simplest form of looping statement is the while statement. It is a entry control loop, or it is a counter based loop or sentinel control loop. A typical syntax for the while loop is while in bracket expression or test condition, then the body of a loop, and then the next statement. Expression or test condition is evaluated first. If it is true, then the set of statements inside the body are executed and control is again passed to the while loop. Again the test condition is tested. If it is true, again the body of loop is executed and control is passed to the test condition. The body of a loop or while loop is executed repeatedly until the expression is false. At that point, the control passes to the next statement. The simplest example that calculates the sum of the square of the first 10 numbers. Initially, sum is initialized to 0, the number is initialized to 1, and n is from 1 to 10. Sum is equals to sum into n square. N into n is for n square, and then n is incremented by 1. These go on executing till it calculates the sum of square of first 10 numbers. Second example is for calculating the factorial of a given number. Factorial of any number n is equals to 1 into 2 into 3 into dash 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 till n. The factorial of a negative number doesn't exist, and the factorial of a 0 is 1. While considering the three conditions, we can write a simple program for calculate the factorial. Initially, the input is taken inside the variable a. Factorial, that's the multiplication f, is initialized to 1 and I is initialized to 1. This is for 1. Then I is incremented. Factorial is equals to factorial into I is incremented, and again the multiplication is calculated, and in this way factorial is calculated. Second example is for the showing for the sentinel loop. First, the character is initialized to dash dash. The while statement then begins by testing whether the character is not equal to y. Since the character was initialized to dash, the test is true and the loop statement character is equals to get char is executed. Each time the letter is keyed in, test is carried out and loop statement is executed until the letter capital Y is pressed. When the capital Y is pressed, the condition becomes false because the character equals to capital Y, and the loop terminates, and thus transferring the control to the next statement outside the loop. This is a typical example of sentinel control loop. Thank you.